Hello, everyone. Welcome to Angel Healing House Radio. My name is Candy Hough. Through my business, Angel Healing House, which can be found at angelhealinghouse.com. I'm a writer and an author, an international radio host, a Reiki master teacher, and an angel practitioner. My inspirational books entitled Angels of Faith and One True Home Behind the Veil of Forgetfulness, and my autobiography, I Am an Angelic Walk-In, are based on my recollections of our life in spirit, and they help us to remember our divine, eternal natures. Through Angel Healing House, I help people to let go of sadness, anger, bitterness, resentment, and regret that has kept them locked in the prison of the past, and I help them to let go of worry, stress, and control, which has kept them focused on an imagined future. And once they are no longer living in the past or the future, they can start to live in the present moment, which is the only place that they can experience synchronicities, miracles, and magic. As an angel practitioner, I help people to see their lives from a higher perspective with the help of an extraordinary group of angels who call themselves the Posse of Angels. Just like my angelic family, the Posse of Angels, I'm very excited to take some of your calls for that free angel advice. You can call into the show on 1-800-930-2819. But before we get to those callers, welcome everyone to Angel Healing House Radio. I hope everyone is enjoying the start of summer here in the Northern Hemisphere, and the Posse of Angels wish to share with us today ways in which we can become more empowered, ways in which we can believe in ourselves more. And today's topic is entitled, You Are Famous. You are a success. So let's see what this topic is all about. You know, listeners, I remember in 2016 when I released my third book, which is entitled I Am an Angelic Walk-In, the autobiography of Angel Ariel, which is, by the way, the sequel to One True Home Behind the Veil of Forgetfulness. And when I released that book, I was speaking with an acquaintance who is in the public relations field. And when I expressed how happy I was that that the novel was finished and it was finally going out into the world, he said, "Yes, and I bet you are anxious to find out what others think about your novel and if others will accept it." And without a moment's hesitation, I replied to him, "To be quite honest, I never considered either of these two things. What others think about the novel has more to do with who that person is and their perceptions that they bring with them as a reader. Quite frankly, when I release a book, I never even think about whether someone will accept it or not. In fact, any creative that would worry about others accepting their work would never ever, for instance, put one dollop of paint on a canvas. They'd never pick up a musical instrument in order to compose. And no author would publish their work for fear that someone out there may not accept or even like it." You know, after a long silence, he then added, "But you do wish for yourself to be famous and your book to be successful." And my reply was, as a child of God, I'm already famous and I'm already a success, as my work is just an expression of who I am and my divine inherent nature. This is because work is God speaking through me. This and this alone makes me already successful. Well, this acquaintance was rendered utterly speechless as my words rang true for him. But you know what, everyone? This got me thinking of how many of us long for so-called fame and success, and it reminded me of a former client of mine. At almost 91 years of age, let's call this client Maggie. My client Maggie had certainly lived a very full life. When she was in her 20s, she had been chosen to be the singing voice for several major films and several major film stars in very successful movie musicals. And she headlined as a singer on the radio. As her professional star was shining brightly and on the rise, she met her husband, who was quite a famous jazz pianist. When they married, she decided to give up performing so that she could raise their children and be supportive of her husband's career. She wistfully recalled her former achievements and all the possibilities of success that she had been presented with, but that had not been realized. As she spoke, she frequently sighed as there was a heavy resignation sitting upon her heart. With 4 small children, Maggie was pretty much housebound. Although she occasionally sang with her husband's very famous band, she was relegated to watching her husband's career take off as he played for the legends of music like Aretha Franklin, Sammy Davis Jr., and Ella Fitzgerald. She went on to tell me that even though she was not performing, that she desperately wanted to express her love of music. So she decided that she would teach voice lessons from her home. When I asked her how she felt about having decided to teach over performing, she replied that it provided her with an outlet to express her love of singing. But she said, I guess the old saying is true. Those that can do, and those that can't teach. Teaching was fine, she said, but it was nothing like performing, for I really felt alive when I performed. Sighing deeply again, she said, You know, Candy, I could have been famous. I could have been a success. And this longing of not having achieved fame was such a constant burden. It was a weight that she continually carried upon her heart. Now, during the remainder of our session together, the Posse of Angels showed Maggie her life's choices from a higher perspective. Her path to performing, it was actually blocked because of what she wrote into the contract of her life before she incarnated, and it was of such immense importance, yet not only to herself. Her passion, her enthusiasm, and creative expression, well, it demonstrated such an immense joy, and it had a transformative effect on her countless students. The Posse of Angels showed her that each student that was under her tutelage was like a bright light bulb which she helped to turn on. They were so affected by her teaching and how it individually changed them that they went on in life to emulate these same qualities in their lives. Now, during her 50 plus years of teaching, many of her students went on to be international opera singers, musical directors, and Broadway performers. And each one carried Maggie's enormous light in their hearts as they illuminated the path of joy and passion for others to follow. With the insights from our sessions, which helped to shift and lift those resigned negative energies off her stagnant heart, she told me afterwards, Candy, I don't know how to fully express my gratitude for our session today. You and the Posse of Angels have given me the freedom and the empowerment that I needed. At 91 years of age, I now feel like I have a new lease on life. I feel so much lighter, like a huge burden has been lifted off of my shoulders. I feel like I can fly again. So thank you for that lovely testimonial, Maggie. You know, everyone, after Maggie's session, I found her words. You know, I could have been famous. I could have been a success. I found her words ringing over and over in my head. And it really got me to thinking, what does it really mean to be famous? And how do each of us measure our success? So I thought I would ask the Posse of Angels for their heightened perspective on fame and success. And this is what they said. Firstly, the Posse of Angels broke out in laughter. And as I've mentioned many times before, they never laugh at us, but they laugh with us. They began by stating that when we ask to be famous and successful, we are asking for that which we already are, being children of God, created in that reflection and coming from the purest, most absolutely loving source. We're infinite. We are limitless. We are divine, whole, and complete, just as we are. On some level, be it conscious or unconscious, we know this in the deepest core of our souls. You know, it is irrefutable that we are famous and successful at being who we are. For there is no other soul or person in any space, time, or dimension like us, as we each have our own fingerprints. And like snowflakes, no two of us are exactly the same. We know this when we're born, and we retain this knowing while we are very young children. You know, the old expression, children say the darndest things. Well, they say and they do things certainly not to be noted or quoted for what they do, but they are motivated to act and to speak directly from their hearts. A child's identity is allowing themselves to be who they authentically are. It is unfortunate that when some children get older, they actually become reprogrammed. They get reprogrammed to believe that they are no longer famous and they're no longer successful for just being who they are. This message of not being enough, not quite being enough, finds them turning their attention outward to attain or achieve something in order to determine and to find their identity. Now, this is bizarre, as the highest source possible, universal, God, creator source, all that is, created us from pure divine source and made us enough in the first place. Quite frankly, we do not have to produce or create anything in order to be divine, in order to be who we are. Once we turn our attention outside of ourselves, we turn the mirror back outside to receive recognition, external forces start to impose and dictate their ideas of what success and fame means. We look to the outside world to determine whether we are worthy and deserving of really not just being who we are, but ultimately for existing in the first place. Now, the Posse of Angels, they want to remind us that as humans, we are pure intention, There's absolutely nothing wrong and everything right with having wishes and dreams, goals and intentions that we would love to achieve. But what is most important is that we truly do not lose the forest for the trees by losing our sense of who we are with or without said achievement of so-called fame and success. You know, for no matter what fame and recognition we receive and achieve, we realize the luster and the thrill from some achievement, well, that will eventually die down and it will be replaced with some other goal and some other intention to succeed at. It's sort of like when you renovate a house and you start with, let's say, the kitchen, and you pull out the cabinets and you rip up the old linoleum and, you start to refurbish this beautiful kitchen. And then once it's done, then by comparison, your eyes then turn to the rest of the dingy house and you don't take the time to look at that kitchen and appreciate for what it is, but you immediately go to something else to then refurbish. And then it goes on. And that's the way human nature works. The Posse of Angels is assuring us that this is so. We will go from intention to intention because this is how human nature works. And if we need that constant outside validation or so-called hit of being famous or successful to get our sense of identity, then the high from that attainment will certainly wear off and we will quickly turn to the next big thing to get our sense of identity. And everyone, once fame and success fades away, so does our belief in who we divinely are. To be human and to not lose one's sense of self in the process of attaining our goals and dreams, that's no small feat. And great goals and wishes and dreams in life, they do demand great sacrifices in order to be obtained. But along the journey to those dreams, it is imperative that we do not lose our sense of who we divinely are and we take our achievements and things that we accomplish in stride. Now, a perfect example of not being carried away with one's fame and success came from an article I read about where actors and actresses keep their Oscars that they've won. I read that the actress Emma Thompson, who keeps her 2 Academy Awards, she keeps them on a shelf in her bathroom. And she said she does this to help her keep her perception in check about being famous. Unlike many others who achieve fame, Emma is one of those actors who had a solid sense of herself before she became famous. By understanding who she was before her fame arrived, she was then able to not let her fame define her. In today's world, we are constantly with technology bombarded by images that make many of us feel as if, for instance, we are not thin enough, we're not pretty enough, we're not young enough, we're not rich enough, we're not smart enough, or that we don't measure up to what others have done and others achieved. It's no wonder that when many think about pursuing some creative dream and they view these images, they can start to feel like they can't compete at all. And why bother? Why bother in the first place? I've heard of so many of my clients over the past 16 years when they see that I'm an author, when they see that I write books and written articles for magazines, written a lot of things, they say, "Oh, I could never achieve that kind of success or recognition, and why bother in the first place?" And I said, you bother in the first place because the book was given to you. It's a gift from God. And by writing it, you let go of the expectation and attachment as to where it will take you. And with so much again on social media, along with our society's feedback, which is constantly dictating what determines whether we are famous or successful, it is even more important to find that peace and that solace within, knowing that you are doing the best that you possibly can and that you are enough because you were made by the hand of God just that way. You know, I saw a movie earlier this year, and it was entitled At Eternity's Gate, and it starred a brilliant actor, Willem Dafoe, who played the painter Vincent van Gogh. In the 1800s, in which Van Gogh lived, he created such an unusual, different way of painting that nobody quite understood or appreciated his work, and he remained absolutely penniless and dependent on his brother his whole life. None of his paintings sold. You know, he spoke openly about hearing voices, which was very strange in those days, what we call in today's lexicon, today's world, we call that channeling. And that he also said he felt compelled to paint what he saw energetically from his perception. Because he was so odd, because he was so not normal by society's standards, he was committed to mental homes on different occasions. Now, for me, one of the most extraordinary, poignant scenes in the whole movie was when he was sitting in one of these mental homes, which was church run, and he was sitting with a priest. Um, and the priest was looking at one of these strange paintings and suggested that Van Gogh just stop painting, as none of his paintings sold and he simply was not successful. To which Van Gogh said that he heard voices that compelled him to paint, and that even though no one bought his work, he then added that he was painting for those people who had not been born yet, who had who would see his work eventually with different eyes. Now, just a note here. In 2015, one of Van Gogh's paintings sold at Sotheby's auction house for $66.3 million. You know, each one of us was formed by God as a unique expression of fame and success. And then we were sent into human incarnation, or we chose to come in with a full toolkit to build, to imagine, to create an absolutely glorious life. The more we bring forth our gifts, our abilities, and our talents, and creatively and passionately share them with the world, we will connect with the fame that is already part of our divine inherent nature. And you know, everyone, by doing so, our success is felt by doing what we do well without any thought of being famous. For instance, I have always considered myself to be a successful author. And it's not because I aimed at success. I'm successful as a writer for doing what I love and what I believe in. Through the laws of attraction, this feeling of abundance, enthusiasm, excitement, and joy is so powerfully, and then it naturally resonates with the high frequency of the universe. And it works like a magnetized beacon to draw others to myself. that wish to promote, support, and align themselves with my creative endeavors. It is just one of those natural laws of the universe. And when we stop dictating and expecting and have attachment to how these things should, have to, or are supposed to happen, then we manifest more magical, synchronistic, and miraculous possibilities for us to continue to do what we love doing. We do live in an extremely generous universe that desires exactly what we desire. Success is actually the fruit that comes to us. It manifests as the result of our focused energies on our intentions, our wishes, our dreams, and our heartfelt longings. And each of us has been born with an ability or a talent that we absolutely love to do. You know, many people think that success is the key to happiness. Mm-mm. When it flip it, it's just the other way around, as happiness is our joy. Happiness, our joy, is the key to success. Simply put, if you love what you are doing, you are and will be successful. And the Posse of Angels is reminding all of us that a life lived with passion, creativity, joy, love, and integrity, even though it lacks the publicized perception of fame and success, it's like a radiant, bright, illuminating light that lightens a path for others to follow, but it also shines a heavenly light for the angels to dance by. You have been listening to me, Claire Candy Hough, on Angel Healing House Radio. Do remember Angel Healing House Radio airs every week on Tuesdays at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on Transformation Talk Radio. We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will be taking your calls for those free angel readings with myself and my wonderful angelic family, the Posse of Angels. So stick around and we will see you right after this quick break.
Have you discovered the remarkable books at angelhealinghouse.com? Author Claire Candy Hough has channeled rare books of inspiration and insight.
Angels of Faith is an inspiring story of healing, comfort, and hope that reminds us that death is not to be feared, but embraced with joy.
One True Home, Behind the Veil of Forgetfulness, takes readers on a roller coaster ride through Angel Ariel's 5 most important lives on Earth, as well as her experiences in the afterlife, and helps us remember our own journey across the veil.
And Claire Candy's autobiography, I Am an Angelic Walk-In, which details the 2003 soul exchange that took place when Claire Candy walked out of her body and Angel Ariel walked in, creating heaven on earth for herself and others.
To find out more about these wonderful books, visit angelhealinghouse.com today. To see your life from an angel's perspective, book a personal consultation with Claire Candy Hough, Angelic Walk-In Angel Ariel at Angel Healing House. Candy provides intuitive counseling, Reiki, and angel readings in person in Los Angeles or nationally and internationally via phone or Skype. She will channel the practical tools you need to transform your life. Call now, 831-277-3716, or visit angelhealinghouse.com.
Hello, everyone. You're back with me, Claire Candy Hough, on Angel Healing House Radio. We have been speaking today about how you are famous. You are a success. No matter what has happened in your life, you have been born with an abundant nature, You have been born with the gifts, the talents, the abilities inside of you to be able to bring them forth and have an absolutely glorious life. You were born in the reflection of that creator, source, God, all that is, whatever name we choose for it. The name doesn't matter, but we are that reflection, and being that reflection, and with our divine inherent nature, we are already successful, and we are famous for just being who we are, and we are enough and can create, as I said, the most magnificent life from there. Let's go to our phone lines. We have Justina on the line. Justina, you're on the line with Claire Candy Hough. How are you today?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I am well. What is happening in your world?
Oh my goodness, so much. So, I've been a Reiki practitioner for a while, and there's a gentleman I've been working with pretty frequently. And the more I work with him, the more I have these amazing messages from heaven, I'll call them, or the spiritual world, or these super amazing angelic people. And I'm really excited, and I feel so blessed to be able to be a conduit for that. And I feel like I'm kind of being picked up to go do a little more of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really know how to do a little more of that.
Well, again, they're not laughing at you. They're laughing with you. And they're saying, oh, they're showing me a boat. And they're saying, they're showing me Justina at the front of the boat and all of these other people. Okay, so they're saying that many of us who are tapped into and can hear spirit, we are walking and we are in the same boat. They're saying that's the analogy that they're using, and that we are waiting. We are waiting to be shown the next stage for us. And they're saying even though you're really very good at what you do, and they're meaning telepathically, psychically, you haven't lost your powers of clairvoyancy, clairaudience, claircognizant, or clairsentient, or any of the clairs. It's just that it's the timing for it that hasn't presented yet. They're saying you have been a good steward of following the angels' messages and signs as to what to do next. And it's just a matter of timing in order for that to be presented. Now, in the meantime, you just don't sit in your office, or you just don't sit on your porch and twiddle your thumbs. You do what brings you happiness. You do what brings you joy creatively, and you keep creating. You keep creating out of joy. Just don't, but they're saying don't do something in order if you think it's going to bring something on, because that's the wrong reason to do something. A child wouldn't do something in order for something else to happen. They do something because they're so giddy and excited to, mush their fingers in finger paint and just go, instead of on the canvas, instead of, standing back and saying, oh, should I draw like Van Gogh or Picasso or Toulouse-Lautrec? No, they're saying create for creation's sake, and then give it over to the divine, give it over to God and the angels, because they are already orchestrating your next move.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Awesome. So I'm not like crazy.
No.
I'm just excited.
No, yeah, it's good you are in the exact same boat. We are in a little row. If you can picture Justina and Candy in the same little rowboat, and then we're sitting and we don't have any oars, and there's no wind for our little sail.
Oh,
and we're just looking around, and we're so excited. We're excited for the angels to whip up that wind, and for us to be given an oar or something, or thrown a line. But in the meantime, they say perhaps to fish while we're waiting on this, glass-like lake.
Got it.
We're waiting for that movement to come along. Let's pull some cards. So I guess
I'll get me some iced tea to sip on. Got it.
Yeah. So I guess in essence, what they're saying is you're exactly where you're meant to be. And no, you haven't missed any of the signs.
Good.
Because you're so, you're so overly observant about, following a song on the radio or a license plate, or what did that person say, or, listening to a bird, or interpreting numbers, or when you see an animal, what does that animal totem mean? You're so good at that. Sometimes they're showing me a carrot, and they're showing me that they're hiding it behind your neck, at the base of your neck, so that we can't possibly see it. And they're saying, beloved Justina, we want you to be surprised.
Aww.
What's the point of being here if you can't be surprised in human form? And now they're giggling because they've planned such a wonderful surprise for you. The first card that's coming up.
I can't imagine anything better, but go ahead.
I know. The first card that's coming up for you. See, they know you better than you know yourself. And that's why this thing or these things are going to absolutely knock you off your feet. You're just going to be gobsmacked. This is the Page of Cups. This is the offer that's coming in for you, the sign of your next. Now, when I was bringing up about the water, there's this Page of Cups in this tarot deck. This water is splashing up, and it's creating that movement. And as so many of us tarot readers know, that fish popping up out of that cup is like that thing that's going to be presented to you. And you're just going to be, as in their words, gobsmacked. The next part, the next card is the Nine of Pentacles. Is the Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen of Pentacles is that woman who is living an absolutely wealthy, abundant, luxurious life. And she's settled into it. And she is in the world. She's not of it, but she grounds herself. And she grounds this abundance and this knowing how wealthy and abundant she is into human form. And they're saying that that is coming. If you haven't been, if you have experienced that now, it's just going to be like the Bunsen burner is going to be turned under it and make it even better when that comes in. And the next card that's coming in for you is...
I just kept thinking, like, I want to be her that you were describing, and I just got goosebumps everywhere. Like, wow.
Wow. So,
I'll be quiet. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, see yourself as that already. I am. Aww. I want you to say, I am the Queen of Pentacles. Years before I published my 3 books, but years before, when I was writing them, I used to state to the universe, I am a #1 international best-selling author. And then my 2 books went internationally #1 on Amazon in 5 countries. So the whole point of this is you tell the universe, I am the Queen of Pentacles. I am living a luxurious life. I am wealthy. I am abundant. And when we live it, then it can't help but manifest for us. And to speak about doing magic and you being the alchemist, you get the magician.
Wow.
And the magician is about fresh starts. It's about you having everything you need at your fingertips to be able to create the world and the reality that you exist. So if you were a lottery ticket, I would buy you.
That's so exciting. Thank you so much.
It is very exciting. So make sure when this and these things start to manifest, make sure you call back into the program and tell us about them.
Absolutely. Wow. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And tell Angel the angel posse. I said, I love you and thank you.
They heard you, believe me. Isn't that lovely? Okay, you look after yourself, Justina. All the best.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye. Let's go to our next caller. We have Candy. Candy's on the line.
Hello.
Candy in Illinois, how are you?
Hello, Candy. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
You're very welcome. What is happening in your world?
Well, I just recently got divorced again, and I'm starting to get my life back, and I have amazing friends and family, so they're helping me a lot, but I've noticed that I've lost my relationship with God a little bit. You know, I'm not as close as I used to be. Not as spiritual.
Right. Do you think this has happened because you've lost your faith? Do you think this has happened because, well, okay, here come the Posse of Angels. Whoop, here they come in. They're saying on some level, you lost your connection, or you lost hearing or feeling that connection with God, is because on some level you think this should not have happened.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, because like he was studying to be a minister, and he just had, like, I don't know, male menopause, I guess.
Okay. So whatever he had was his free will. But they're saying, what is going to help you to reconnect to, if you want to call it God, if you want to call it angel, call it your spirituality, or this deep knowing, or this intuitive, divine, eternal nature of yours, is if you thank yourself and if you thank God and the angels for the divorce, because it was divinely ordered. Everything in our life, Candy, is divinely ordered for our highest good, because we're ultimately here for our soul's growth. Perhaps you in another life were a man and you went through male menopause, or whatever you want to call it, and you said that you wanted to divorce your loving wife. And you needed then to come back and to experience. Oh, Pete, pick up the phone. Sorry. He's going to now run downstairs. He's going to run to the phone. Sorry, everyone. Please pick up the phone. Okay, he did. All right. So where was I? Okay. So, a lot of things that we can't figure out is just our soul asking for karmic closure. And the only way we can have karmic closure is if we directly, not in theory, if we practically experience something. So to retain your faith is to say, thank you. I can't figure this out now, but I know that I am held in the hands of God and the angels. Because if I'm in a human, funny little meat suit, if I'm in this body, it means I'm a spirit and I've been made in the reflection of God's source. And this event or this happening, it doesn't completely, define who I am. And this too shall pass. And I will learn from this, and I will be better and stronger. So much of our life, Candy, when we have adversity and hardship in our lives, challenges us and causes us to be greater than we possibly can. It builds character. And a lot of times we can only see this when we've crossed over and we're standing with that etheric council, going over on our contract of our book of life. Of our human life, and then then we're able to understand it. But if you thank it, if you bless it, and another great thing, I do have an exercise for you to do. If you can sit quietly for about 10 or 15 minutes every single day, if you can call in your higher self and the higher self of your ex, and acknowledge that you wrote him into the contract and acknowledged him to be exactly as he is. Thank him for playing a contrasting role in order for you to learn your lesson in tolerance and forgiveness. Bless him for exactly what he chooses on his life's journey, as you would want others to bless you on your choices. And then finally release him in the light. This is going to help you enormously to let go and bring yourself back to that faith. Let's go to the cards and see what comes out. It's going to make you feel so much better, and it's going to make you feel less like you're lost. The first card that comes out for you, and I'm not surprised, is the Eight of Swords. This is the trust card. And it's not blind faith. This is the faith and the trust that you would not have been given anything that you can't cope with. And it's something that you can glean from. You can't see it now, but so much of life is seeing things in retrospect. When your new love comes in, because of these lessons you'll learn, you'll be better, stronger, faster, more compassionate, more empathetic, and a very different person. But it's just, this card is telling you deeply, deeply trust the universe. The next card that's coming out for you is a Five of Wands. And they're saying, particularly in this case, is that the number of 5 is about challenges and it's about changes. And that's why you brought these things to your life, for you to weather through and to combat. And ultimately, the third card is the Star card. Wish upon a star. Just like I mentioned to Justina, imagine yourself in the relationship, and imagine yourself in the surroundings and the reality that you wish to manifest for yourself, and put that energy out to the world. I hope that's been helpful for you.
Very helpful. Thank you so much.
All right. Sending you lots of love. Take care, Candy. Bye-bye. Let's go to our next caller. We have Michelle. Michelle, you're on the line with Claire Candy Hough.
Hi, Claire. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
You're very welcome. What is happening in your world?
A lot, but I basically am more focused on other people at the moment. There's 2 certain people in my life right now that I think really could use some guidance and help. And if there's any way, like, I can help them through what they're going through at this moment.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Then just, yeah, it's not, I guess, I don't know. It's not about me. It's more about these 2 individuals.
Okay. Well,
I can help them get through what they're going through.
Okay. The first thing that you have to know is that these are soulmates of yours. They are in your soul group. The reason that you feel so much that you want to help them is because you have done this dance before in former incarnations, and you want to help them. So you've come back in different guises to play this, this different role again in either finishing some business or helping them in some way. And that's why the Posse of Angels want you to know. That's why you feel so drawn to help them. The other thing that you, which is very beneficial for you to know, is they created this. Whatever they're going through, these 2 people, they created this to strengthen their character, to work on their karma, because we are here for our soul's growth, and that's what's most important. And some of our greatest growth happens during challenges and struggles, in order for us to steel ourselves, find that courage and bravery, and then to triumph over it. The best thing that you can do is to be supportive, is to be loving. Don't try to figure them out, and don't try to fix it, because they're not broken.
Okay.
Okay. The greatest thing that you can do is just to be there supportively and to love them. That, because love is the greatest, if you want to call it, weapon that we have in our arsenal, and to just be there for them, and to know that you support what they're going through. And it's going to mean even more when you understand that you've come back from a soul's perspective to help them once again. Um, and and it means so much to that soul when you're there for them and you just say, well, I've got your back. I'm not here to figure it out. I'm not here to fix it because it's not broken, but just to support you is absolutely enormous. So the Posse of Angels are saying, beloved Michelle, they are lucky to have you.
Oh,
Oh, makes me want to cry. Oh, they are so
these
sweet.
are very, very special to me. So they're separate people. Like, they know each other, but they don't communicate. So they're very, very special to me in their own certain ways. And that just makes me feel good.
Oh my gosh. The first card that's coming out for you is the World card. This is a card it's a card of new beginnings. It's the card of starting something, but it's also a card of completion. It's a card where you are asked to step up and to be there for them once again in order for them to have new fresh starts and to start anew. So that's a beautiful card to start with, that World card. The next card is coming out for you is the Eight of Pentacles. Now, I always call this card the Being Remarkable card. Being remarkable at who you are, at showing others, showing up as authentically, transparently, and openly and honestly as you possibly can. And that's what you're doing. You're just showing up for these people. The next card for you is the Six of Wands, and this is the Victory card. This is the card of recognition. It's the card of promotion. It's the card of being recognized, and triumph and victory. So beautiful cards there. And I'm not surprised because of the beautiful friendship that you have. So I hope that's been helpful for you.
It has. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't like overstepping any boundaries, or I was, giving the advice, in a positive and calming manner. I wasn't overly, I don't know. I just want to make sure I do things right whenever they come to me and talk to me.
Absolutely. And the way, there is no right, there's no wrong, there's no good or bad. There's only those feelings that we have in our heart. And when we have that feeling, to be kind, to be compassionate, to be, honoring, respectful, to be empathetic, gentle, soft, all of that, and loving. When we have those feelings, is to step forward, because that's God speaking through us.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Have an You're very welcome.
This is my first time doing this. So
oh my gosh! I hope it's been okay.
Yeah, it has. It really has. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Have a beautiful day. God bless you, Michelle. Take care.
You too, Claire. You too.
Okay. Bye-bye. In the few minutes that we have left, I have had many people ask me if I would read more of my father's poetry. My father's name is Leonard Milgram. He is more alive to me now. And now that he's in spirit, he crossed over 3 years ago. And every time I read one of his poems on my program, I get countless communication from people who are saying, his poetry touches me like I cannot express how his poetry makes me feel. So, with our topic today about being famous and also being a success, I wanted to read his poem that is entitled "The Wisdom God Placed in Our Soul." Whenever you stumble or falter or fumble or fail to advance to your goal, take a moment in prayer to see past the despair, to the wisdom God placed in your soul. When you're cut or confused and your ego is bruised and you feel that you're out of control, yet this feeling's not true. There's a you within you. It's the wisdom God placed in your soul. There are times you're so low, there seems no place to go. Still, there's one place you always can stroll. When there's nowhere to hide, you can just go inside to the wisdom God placed in your soul. In the silence, you'll find peace beyond peace of mind, the courage to make yourself whole. It's a counsel unique that you don't have to seek. It's the wisdom God placed in your soul. Only few come to know that gratuitous glow from the knowledge of life's earthly role. Yet we all get to try to decipher the why in the wisdom God placed in the soul. Thank you all for listening. Thank you to my callers. Thank you to those people around the globe who are listening to me, those people who are listening to my archive shows, as all of these shows are archived on my host page on the Transformation Talk radio site. Again, do remember that Angel Healing House Radio airs every week on Tuesdays at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And remember, this coming week is to go out and fashion an absolutely unbelievably beautiful life for yourself. I'm wishing you love and angel blessings, and I look forward to speaking with you again next week. Take care, everyone. Bye.